Hi there. Welcome to the listening window. Today's story is called I Took My Husband's Jacket and Found Something Inside. This is a listening and speaking practice story told in simple, natural English to help you learn the way real people talk. You'll hear many common words and phrases that you can use in daily life. At the end of this story, I'll tell you how to download the full script, vocabulary list, a quiz, the answer key, and a bonus writing or speaking prompt. Now, let's begin. Last Sunday, it was colder than usual. The wind had picked up and the clouds looked heavy with rain. I had to run to the grocery store just to grab a few things for dinner: milk, bread, eggs. I didn't feel like putting on my own coat from the bedroom closet, so I grabbed my husband's jacket from the hook by the door. It was thick, warm, and honestly, I liked how it smelled. Like him. Like home, that I slipped it on, grabbed my keys, and headed out. I didn't think twice about IT. IT wasn't until I reached into the pocket for some change that I felt something odd. Something crumpled. At first, I thought it was a receipt, maybe an old shopping list. But when I pulled it out, my heart stopped. It was a note. Handwritten, on pink paper. The kind I never use. It said, "Thank you for yesterday. I've missed you. Same time next week." No name, no number, just a tiny red lipstick mark in the corner. I stood frozen by the milk aisle, staring at that note. The words ran through my mind again and again. Yesterday? Same time next week? I had no idea what it meant, or maybe I did, and I just didn't want to believe it. My first instinct was to confront him, call him, ask him, but something in me paused. I wanted to be sure. I wanted to know more before I opened a conversation that might change everything. I put the note back in the pocket and went home as if nothing had happened. That night, I didn't say a word. I watched him as he made tea, as he folded laundry, as he scrolled through his phone. Nothing seemed off. He was the same person I married. Calm, loving, funny, familiar. But now there was a storm in my head that I couldn't shake off. The next morning, while he was in the shower, I checked his jacket again. Nothing else. But then I checked his phone. I hated doing it. I had never done it before. I felt guilty, like I was crossing some invisible line. But something inside me needed to know. No messages. No suspicious calls. Just work, news apps, and the usual boring stuff. I wanted to let it go. I really did. But all week, I couldn't stop thinking about that note. I made a decision. The next Sunday, I waited. I left the house early, pretending I was going to meet a friend. But I didn't go far. I parked down the street and waited in my car, watching exactly 11:45 a.m. He stepped out of the house. Wearing the same jacket, I followed him. He walked 2 blocks, then took a turn toward the park. I stayed back, keeping my distance. My heart was pounding so hard, I thought it might give me away. He stopped by a small cafe near the edge of the park. Not a place we ever went together. I watched from across the street, A few minutes later, a woman arrived. She was maybe in her 50s, tall, with short black hair and a bright red scarf. She smiled when she saw him, and they hugged. Not just a friendly hug, a warm, familiar one. Then they sat down together. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but they talked for almost an hour. He laughed. She touched his arm. They looked happy, comfortable. I felt sick, but just when I thought I knew what was going on, I saw something strange. She handed him a photo. He looked at it and nodded. Then he handed her a folder. She tucked it into her bag carefully, like it was something valuable. They stood up, hugged again, and walked off in different directions. I stayed in my car for a long time, thinking that evening I couldn't keep quiet anymore. I confronted him. I found a note, I said. In your jacket. I saw you meet her. Who is she? He froze. Then, slowly, he sat down and rubbed his face with both hands. She's not who you think, he said. She's my sister. My stomach dropped. Your sister. I asked. He nodded. From before. From my father's first marriage. I only found out about her a few months ago. We didn't grow up together. I never mentioned her because, well, I wasn't sure what to do with it all. I didn't believe him at first. It sounded too strange, too convenient, but he showed me the folder. It was filled with letters, old family photos, and DNA test results. He had been meeting her secretly, trying to get to know her before introducing her to me. The note, I said. He looked confused for a second. Then he laughed, actually laughed. She's a romantic. She writes notes instead of texts. That one wasn't even meant for me. It was a joke. She was teasing me for being awkward last time we met. That's just how she is. I didn't know whether to cry or laugh myself. It all suddenly made sense. The secrecy, the strange meeting, the note. I felt a rush of emotions, relief, guilt, embarrassment, and something else I couldn't name. We sat there in silence for a while. Eventually, I apologized for snooping. He apologized for hiding it. We talked for hours about everything. And for the first time in a long while, I felt closer to him than ever. Now, every Sunday, we both go to meet her. She's lovely, and honestly, she feels like family already, but I'll never forget how one small note almost tore apart our trust, and how it brought a new piece of family into our lives. Thank you for listening to The Listening Window. If you enjoyed this story and want to study with it, you can download the full script, vocabulary list, a quiz with answers, and a bonus writing or speaking prompt using the link in the description. And tell me in the comments, what would you have done if you found a note like that in your partner's jacket?